I did reach out to some of my birds, and they're talking, but they're not talking about much. MLB Trade Rumors just came out with a article. There's nothing going on. There's nothing scheduled. Even Bobby Nightingale was right on this one. There's nothing scheduled. And for my birds, the ball is in MLB's court to come back and make a proposal about, I hate using this term but I guess it's right. It's the core economics. That's all that's at play here, people. All the other stuff is going to get figured out. It's all about, the splitting up of the revenue, essentially, of the money. There's been no talks scheduled, which I don't understand. It's been, like a month since we've had talks? What are people doing? I went on and talked about how I hate Santa Claus. Like, who cares? Remember, people were mad at me for that. But still, Santa's coming. Who cares about Santa Claus? Even in the new year, we're back at work. What's today, January 3rd? We got nothing on the books? I just don't understand. The players were expecting a counterproposal in Dallas. That's what I got. There was not a counterproposal in Dallas. So now here we are waiting. It's January 3rd. And I am on record of saying, I did say there was no lockout. I didn't think there would be a lockout. I misspoke. What I really meant was I don't think we're going to be missing games. I'm not so sure anymore about that. The longer this thing takes, there's going to be proposals and then, redlining and counter proposals. It seems like it takes a lot of time. We've worked with these sides before. They don't work quickly. There's a little tidbit for you. They don't work quickly at all. So I'm scared. I think the first spring training game is February 26th. Evan Drellick, I actually really like what he writes. I feel like a lot of it is very, very truthful. He's saying that a deadline seems to help these two sides talk. And right now there's really no deadline. So as we get closer to it, maybe there'll be some more talking. But right now we're just sitting here doing nothing. We're twiddling our thumbs. And I think it's preposterous. Because remember, people, 2016, we agreed to a CBA. 5 years in the making here. I know you don't have to start talking about it 5 years ago, but let's start ironing things out a year in advance, a year and a half in advance. We're sitting here January 3rd. We're locked out and we got nothing. Doesn't make any sense. I hate it. That's really all I got. I got a poll sent to me about how fans think about it. Guess what? I don't care. I don't care about the freaking poll. Okay. I need both these sides to start talking. And I'm talking to MLB and the Players Association.
Yeah, we're gonna miss games. We're January 3rd.
Yeah.
You're 40 days out from spring training, 45 days out from pitchers and catchers showing up. They're not getting there. That sucks. I think we're gonna miss games.
My feeling is that MLB is going to stall because they know it puts pressure on the players who want to play games, who have to get ready to play games. They can't just go and say, oh, hey, it's April 1st. We just finished a deal. Go out and play the games, guys. No, you have to have a spring training. People need to get ramped up. And we're in a lockout, mind you. We can't meet. They can't have practices. They can't do anything. So to have the lockout be over, there needs to be, a 3-4 week period after the lockout is over, just to ramp guys up. So it's looking bad out there, and I do believe that this is just a tactic, a stall tactic on MLB's side.
My fear when we talked about this a couple weeks ago was there's no deadline. There's no deadline. Both sides are confident a deal is going to get done, but there's no deadline. And my comparison was to the free agency deadline. Look at how many guys signed because there was a timeline to get something done. The only timeline to get something done is games. And both sides think that's their leverage. So, and knowing both sides participating, yeah, man, it sucks because there's so much fun stuff to dream of when the lockout is over, but I don't think there's a clear end in sight. Trev, it seems like I sparked something. You raised your hand.
I want to remind everybody that there is no need to be in a lockout. This is a self-imposed MLB lockout. They don't need to do this. They can continue to bargain without locking out. This was a negotiating tactic that's going to it's gonna hurt them as organizations because we are going to get this deal done and then we are going to speed into the season and we are going to see injuries because of it. The lockout is the dumbest thing that has happened to this sport in a long time. And for everyone needs to know, I know we've talked about it here, but just know this didn't have to happen. It was strictly a negotiating ploy set by MLB. That's all it is. They could still be having their people rehab with them, seeing their doctors, getting them physically ready for the season, but they chose the opposite path. And they're going to pay for it with injuries. And players are going to pay for it with injuries because they're going to speed through this thing and try to get games in as fast as possible after this agreement comes in. But I just have to make sure people know they didn't have to do this. They could still have players' pictures on MLB.com. MLB Network can still be showing highlights and talking about free agency and stuff. But instead, they chose that path, and it's freaking ridiculous that they did it. It's so stupid. Sorry.
I agree.
Let it out.
Let it all out. Jake, you want to talk about something fun? I think is that it? I mean, they got to start talking soon. That's the thing. Otherwise, we're missing games. Maybe we don't. But yeah, I came to that conclusion that they're just using that data as leverage. So both would rather prove they're not going to budge than budge to start negotiating